Welcome back to CNN Evening News. Today is January 23rd. Yesterday, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton participated in 2 congressional hearings in front of committees from both chambers and answered questions from both parties on the situation in Benghazi and its alleged cover-up. As we all know, back on September 11, 2012, the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, was attacked by unidentified armed men, thought to be angry about an anti-Islam film. The attack left 4 dead, including the American ambassador to Libya.
The White House and UN initially thought that the cause of the attack was the inflammatory film, but it was later declared a terrorist act. Republicans have criticized the Obama administration and accused the president and UN Ambassador Susan Rice of covering up the real story and keeping vital information from the people. Well, it's our job here at CNN as a media outlet to inform the people and connect them to the government. Many rallied around the flag and looked to the president as the father of our nation, following the tragedy in Benghazi. We take you now to a segment of President Obama's September 12th speech regarding the attack in Benghazi.
I strongly condemn the outrageous attack on our diplomatic facility in Benghazi, which took the lives of 4 Americans, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. Right now, the American people have the families of those we lost in our thoughts and prayers. They exemplified America's commitment to freedom, justice, and partnership with nations and people around the globe, and stand in stark contrast to those who callously took their lives. I have directed my administration to provide all necessary resources to support the security of our personnel in Libya, and to increase security at our diplomatic posts around the globe. While the United States rejects efforts to denigrate the religious beliefs of others, we must all unequivocally oppose the kind of senseless violence that took the lives of these public servants. Thank you. There have been plenty of arguments between both parties on whether or not President Obama properly labeled the attack as an act of terrorism in his address, and on whether the White House covered up the situation as a protest over an anti-Islam film. Yesterday, in a hearing with the Senate, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who is a member of the cabinet, had a heated exchange with Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin about the lack of information that the people had about the attack.
We were misled that there were supposedly protests and then something sprang out of that, an assault sprang out of that. And that was easily ascertained that was not the fact. And the American people could have known that within days, and they didn't know that.
With all due respect, the fact is we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make? It is our job to figure out what happened and do everything we can to prevent it from ever happening again, Senator.
I'm here now with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Ms. Clinton, how do you feel about yesterday's hearings, and do you think they were helpful in getting to the bottom of the Benghazi situation?
Well, Congress does have the right to execute the powers of congressional oversight, so it's only fair for our nation's legislators to watch over and investigate actions of the executive branch. While things sometimes get heated, without these important checks and balances, we in the executive branch would not need to maintain accountability. While the 3 branches of government have separate powers, I think it is important for all areas of government to work together in order to prevent future disasters. For example, as a member of the cabinet, I use my expertise in the foreign policy arena to advise the president. I think I know better than anyone about what happened in Benghazi, so I should be held accountable for what happened. I was happy to answer questions from both sides of the aisle yesterday, and I can only hope that my responses were helpful.
Many believe that the bureaucracy of the State Department needs to be reorganized, since there were, quote, systemic failures and leadership and management deficiencies within 2 bureaus, according to an independent panel's report. How do you feel about that?
Well, before the attack, despite the information in the news cables we received, I was advised to keep the consulate open. We receive over 1.4 million cables every year, so it's impossible to sift through each and every one. The 4 federal employees who made that recommendation have been removed from their posts. But I think that mistake makes it clear that the bureaucracy of the State Department needs to be reformed. These non-elected officials within the government who implement the rules, laws, ideas, and functions of their institutions should be monitored for greater efficiency. You know, many important cables never got to me because they first go through the huge, complex bureaucracy of my department. Because of the size of my department, work isn't as fast as we'd like. Since important cables travel through different bureaus and department heads, only a small amount gets to me.
With what we know now, where do you think your department should go from here?
Like I said yesterday, I think we need to focus on preventing any similar tragedies from happening again. I have appointed an accountability review board and have accepted its 29 recommendations on how to increase U.S. diplomatic security around the world. I think the executive branch now needs to look to straightening their foreign policy.
Thank you, Mrs. Clinton. Now over to Leah.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now on the topic of foreign policy, some believe that our intervention in the fall of the Gaddafi regime in Libya paved the way for terrorist organizations to assume greater power. The new central government has had little control in the Benghazi region, which is why diplomatic missions of many Western nations were closed. The U.S. did not close its missions or add extra security to the consulate in Benghazi, so the threat was largely ignored. Many important cables indicating the need for heightened security in Benghazi were also ignored. In light of the attack, it is evident that the U.S. needs to strengthen both our national and diplomatic security.
I'll turn it over to Leah, who's now in Washington.
Jennifer, we're here live at the White House to get the public's opinion on what happened in September in Benghazi.
What was your reaction when you first found out about Benghazi happening back in September?
Well, I thought it was a really unfortunate situation. A really unfortunate situation. I knew I didn't know all of the details, but it was certainly a tragedy that you often wonder anytime that sort of thing happens if it could be prevented or not.
Okay. And how do you feel about the government, their final decision on the Benghazi hearing?
Well, I have a really strong feeling that there were a lot of things that were put under the rug and covered up that we still don't even know yet. So I'm not satisfied that all the facts are out there, but I do feel like there was more to it than we were led to believe initially for certain, and I think that's been proven. And then also there's probably more to come.
I feel like the public doesn't get full answers in a timely enough manner. I feel like there's still a lot of unanswered questions, but I feel like the administration could have done a better job of, telling us exactly what happened and being truthful about it.
So, what was your reaction when you heard about the U.S. consulate being attacked in Benghazi back in September?
As a UK citizen, I was distressed that any consulate that is sacred ground to the country was attacked by another state. And I think if that had happened for something for the UK, then I would have just the same amount of commitment to the US as I would to the United Kingdom.
It's great to get the people's opinions on the issue. Democrats in the State Department have accused Republicans of trying to turn a tragedy into a political game. Patrick Venchel, a spokesman for the State Department, criticized the party polarization of House Republicans, saying, quote, "This is not a collaborative process where the committee is working directly with us in trying to establish facts that would help, as we look to keep our people safe overseas in a very complex environment."
While everyone present at both hearings wanted to get to the bottom of the issue, Democrats largely defended the actions of Hillary Clinton, while Republicans condemned her actions. Although the Democrats control the Senate and the Republicans control the House in our divided government, there were plenty of heated exchanges from both chambers' committees. Clearly, the political ideologies of committee members played a major role in determining their reactions to the attack in Benghazi.
And that's all the time we have tonight. Tune in tomorrow for more coverage of the Benghazi hearings. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Go.
When kids are without a dad.
Go.
Thank you, Mrs. Clinton.
And now over to Leah.
Sorry.
Here, just get like a video of me going like this.
Why?
Wait, my armpits aren't too. Where's our holster?
Chill out. It's all right here. It's all right there.